Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm Rantoinette. I've got a little bit of a mixed bag for you today. I wanted to get this out before I had to take a couple days off, so just want to make sure that this is out there for your Monday morning. Anyway, happy Easter to everybody if you celebrate that kind of thing. So, and it's been a lovely weekend in New York, and it's always nice when the weather breaks and things start looking better. But okay, I've stalled enough. Let's get into some news. So the Donald Trump just took a big old fat L when it comes to what he's doing with immigration policy. And it's not really immigration. I mean, immigration, it kind of implies that there's some kind of, I don't know, there's some kind of procedure involved other than just snatching people up off the street, black bagging them, and put them on a plane to El Salvador or to some ICE facility in Louisiana or what have you. But the Supreme Court voted 7-2 to you got to bring this guy home, Abrego Garcia. They thought that maybe the way I'm interpreting it is that the Supreme Court in their original ruling was 9-0, that they were basically just giving Trump a, hey, this is an easy out for you. Just go ahead and bring him home and everything will be fine and we'll just stop looking at stuff. But Donald Trump obviously didn't do that. We watched Stephen Miller do his little dance, Pam Bondi do her little dance, and no, actually it was 9-0 for us, whatever. So the Supreme Court, and here's the crazy thing, they released the decision, the 7-2 decision, they released it at like 1 o'clock in the morning. That is unheard of for the Supreme Court, and they usually allow, they wait for the dissenting opinions so they can publish them both at the same time, the winning decision and the dissenting decision, they usually release at the same time. Not this time. Chief Justice John Roberts was not having his like, no, we're going to get this done now. If you guys want to publish your dissent later, go ahead. But we're going to get this out right now. So it was like 1 o'clock in the morning that they published this finding, 1 o'clock in the Saturday morning. So they were really adamant about getting this information. I was like, no, Donald, you, Stephen Miller, Pam Bondi, you are absolutely wrong about this. You cannot be using the Insurrection Act. We will hear the Insurrection Act case, but alone on its own merits. We're not going to be allowing you to just snatch people up and say, hey, we're at war, we're just taking people up and we're sending them to El Salvador, to the gulag with you. And that's what they have been doing, obviously. I mean, Abrego Garcia happens to be the face of this thing, but he's not the only guy. I mean, we have that woman, the Tufts college student from Massachusetts, Ozturk. They snatched her up. There's a new one. His name is Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, and he is an actual American citizen with a birth certificate and a social security card and the whole 9 yards. But since he didn't speak English, just the brown guy can't speak English, must be illegal, pack him up, send him off to jail. And his mother shows up with his birth certificate in hand and his social security card. Is like, he is American. He's absolutely American. And the judge was like, well, I can't really make a decision at this time, so he's going to have to stay in the ICE facility. Now, eventually he was released, a couple days later, but they're still doing it. There was a guy a couple of days ago who was going to get his citizenship papers, a scheduled time. He gives an interview, I believe, it was CNN or CNN International, and he says, I'm kind of worried about going in here because it seems like it might be a little bit of a setup. I was supposed to do this back in November of last year to get my citizenship papers, but now it got rescheduled to March, and since Donald Trump is in office, I don't know what's going to happen to me. That guy is a Palestinian, and of course they snatched him up too. We see footage of him getting marched out of the immigration center that he was in handcuffs. So anybody could be the face of this. It's not just Abrego Garcia, but since that is the one that seems to have taken hold of America, that's the one that's become the face. And since, Senator Van Hollen went down to El Salvador and made a big showing of it, which is good, it has stayed in the news. And that's the kind of stuff that we need. Look, whether or not you agree that protesting is effective or not, I think that the stink that people are making in these protests, like the hands-off protest a couple of weeks ago, and by the way, just had a hands-off protest yesterday. Hundreds of thousands of people in New York City. From what I saw, it was freaking immense. So many people came out. And, I'm sure looking at like TikTok videos and what have you across the country, it was just as big across the country. Now, that old expression comes to mind, the revolution will not be televised. It sure as shit won't, because you don't really see a whole lot of it. Even when they printed it in the New York Times, it's like on page 3 and it's a small couple of little pictures of like a dozen people in the photo. And it just looks, it looks like they don't really seem to care about this. But America certainly does, or at least the American citizens sure think it's a real big deal. So, it's encouraging to see so many people standing up against this fascist takeover, this robber baron coup that we're looking at. And people are pretty pissed. But yet, I still see people like, for fucking sakes, Greg Gutfeld, who calls himself a comedian. He's on Fox News, and he's on that show, The Five. He's got his own show called Gutfeld with a big exclamation point behind it. And it's a comedy show that actually does well. I can't believe it. I've watched it a couple times. The dude is not funny, but I was watching him on The Five the other day, and he's like, I just don't have the mental shelf space to be able to deal with this Abrego Garcia. I mean, I was told he was MS-13, and that's all I really care about. And we just need to get the bad people out and whatever. And, one of the women that's on The Five, they have one liberal on there. She's like, it's a gulag that they're sending him to. And he's like, I just don't really care. Who cares about these people? And, you got people like Bobby Kennedy Jr. that's, talking about autistic people, how they're not going to be able to use the bathroom on their own, and they'll never write a poem. They'll never write a poem, and they'll never be able to use a bathroom on their own. And let me tell you about health. A guy that sounds like that telling you about health, a guy that was a freaking heroin addict and alcoholic for decades, a guy that is a known fuckwit. He's going to sit there and tell you, but I know the reasons why autism happens. Jesus Christ, we are living in the dumbest timeline. I swear to God. But anyway, I digress. Just really happy to see the protests do so well, and people, please keep it up. And here's a little bit of an update that I'm really actually very happy to report to you. The 420 decision that was coming down from Donald Trump when he was inaugurated on January 20th, he says, in 3 months, 90 days, which is 420, I want you to put a report on my desk. He tells Pete Hegseth, the head of the DOD, Fox News C-Team, Pete Hegseth, Leaky Pete, he's done it again, folks. I got more updates on that guy, but he asked Pete Hegseth and Kristi Noem, who is the Department of Homeland Security. He asked them to write a report on whether or not Donald Trump should invoke the Insurrection Act, which means no more protesting, American military boots on the ground here in America, completely anti-constitutional, posse comitatus, the whole 9 yards. And they handed him the report, and it said, we do not need to, invoke the Insurrection Act at this time. Which is, for me right now is just kind of like, God, Jesus, thank God. But at the same time, at this time, kind of implies that maybe later. And look, Donald Trump's popularity is precipitously declining. He's a fuck up of epic proportions. He's screwing up everything, the economy, immigration, he's destroying jobs, and he's really messing with this country. It seems like he's treating it like he would any of his other businesses. I'm going to run this thing to the ground. I'm going to declare bankruptcy, and I'm going to walk away with a pile of cash. And that's what it seems like he's doing with America. And as his popularity goes down from doing these stupid and insane fascist stuff that he's doing, his popularity is going to go down to a point where even his own base, some of them, not all of them, he will always retain like 25, 30% of America will just be following the guy around like he's got candy bars shooting out of his ass. It does not matter what he does. If he literally shot somebody on Fifth Avenue, they would follow him down that trail. They don't care. And, they're like, well, you're following this guy and he's a fascist. Are you sure you want to be a fascist? And they're like, I don't care. I don't care. Donald Trump's my daddy. Daddy's home. He took off his belt, and I just want to see him whip somebody. I want to see him beat a liberal girl's ass. Daddy's home, and you've been a very naughty girl, as Tucker Carlson said. Ugh, God. But, God, I forgot what the hell I was talking about. When his popularity does go down, he is, and he becomes more and more desperate. There is a chance, a very distinct chance, that he will do the Insurrection Act. I mean, back in 2020 during the Black Lives Matter protest, he cleared out that park right outside, in DC, right outside the White House. It was not right outside, it's like a church down the street from the White House, but he cleared it all out, and he used some National Guard people, he used some prison guards, and they went in there with rubber bullets and started shooting people, and they cleared it out so Donald Trump could do his little propaganda, photo shoot, standing outside of a boarded up church holding a Bible upside down, and we've all seen the picture of Hitler doing exactly the same thing. It's like, Jesus Christ. But when he went to his DOD head at the time, Mark Esper, he's like, can't we just shoot him in the leg or something? I mean, come on. And Mark Esper's like, we can absolutely not do that. But he's got Pete Hegseth now. And I guarantee you, Pete Hegseth would be like, whatever you want, Mr. President. You want me to get some guys with some M16s? Sure. We don't have to just shoot him in the leg. We can shoot him in the head. I don't care. And like Kristi Noem is going to tell him, no, Mr. President, we really shouldn't do that. Now, do you mind if I put on a big fat Rolex and, do a little thirst trap skinny shirt and go stand in front of a whole bunch of prisoners at the Gulag? You wouldn't mind that, right? Do we think that either one of these people wouldn't be like, yeah, Mr. President, do whatever you want. We'll serve you. You're the boss. You're my daddy. So at least for now, it does not look like the 420 Insurrection Act is going to happen. So that's a big sigh of relief for me. I'm glad to hear that. But, it doesn't mean that, at this time, it kind of implies, hey, maybe later on. Oh, speaking of later on, in June, I believe there's an anniversary for the military or something like that. And Donald Trump wants to do like a dual, hey, it's my birthday in early July. Let's just have a birthday celebration for me and, combine with the military. And we could do a big old military parade where we got, tanks and missiles and shit, all, old school Russia style, marching down the street, marching down Pennsylvania Avenue. First of all, just the logistics of that. Our roads cannot handle tanks. We just can't handle tanks. What, are you just going to tear up Pennsylvania Avenue just for Donald Trump's ego? Of course they would. Of course they would. Jesus Christ, what are we talking about here? But according to the projected cost, it would cost about $92 million for this vanity project for Donald Trump. And I absolutely don't put it past them. I mean, maybe somebody will be like, Mr. President, we would have to repave the entirety of Pennsylvania Avenue. Like, I don't care. I want my military parade. And can we put a gold statue out there oh, I got all of my Republican friends wearing a big old gold pin with my face on it. It's going to look just like it's supposed to look on Mount Rushmore. You know how I want to be on Mount Rushmore, folks. You know, I mean, we could get rid of one of those guys and we would just put my face there instead. I mean, who cares about Teddy Roosevelt? I mean, who's that one guy, you know, that's right next to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln? I can't remember his name. I don't know. It's very Jeffersonian. That's too big of a word for this dude. But maybe we have that to look forward to. So we don't get the Insurrection Act right away, but maybe we get a nice military parade, you know, a la dictator style. Does he stand out there? Does Donald Trump get a special uniform where he gets the big gold epaulets and he puts on some sunglasses and he could look like Gaddafi or something? Or maybe he's just doing the whole, you know, wave like Mussolini or something. He does have that Mussolini, you know, angry, lippy lean that he does. It's very Mussolini. But maybe we have that to look forward to. But anyway, I just wanted to do a quick show and get you updated on what's going on over the weekend. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. Whatever you did, if you celebrate Easter or whether you're not, you got outside, you touched some grass, because we need this for our mental health. Just go out there, touch some grass, go meet some people. You know, be around other humans. It's good for the soul. We're social creatures, you know? We need to be out amongst our other fellow humans and, you know, and show a little love and have a little camaraderie with one another in these dark times. It's good for you. So go do that. And now that spring is finally sprung, maybe we can start enjoying that a little bit. And I certainly am enjoying watching Donald Trump just keep taking L after L after L. It is good for my soul, and you know, it made for a much smilier weekend. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope that you guys have a great weekend, and I hope your week is good. And please, if you don't mind, liking and subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. It means the world to me. It doesn't cost you anything. Have a great rest of your day. You take care. Bye-bye. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.